we go. What is going on, Cover One crew? Welcome back to the show. Hope everybody is great. I'm always good because we're diving back into that lab and we're talking about wide receivers today. We're talking Marvin Harrison Jr., son of Hall of Famer Marvin Harrison Sr. And I mean, there is everything to like about a guy like Marvin Harrison. I get it. You know, he hasn't participated in a lot of the offseason stuff right now, so everyone's kind of dropping him down the board, trying to put guys like Malik Neighbors and Roma Dunzier above him. Do not get it twisted. This guy is elite in all traits and facets. We will discuss it, give him pros, cons, and a grade score for y'all. So let's dive into Marvin Harrison Jr., Ohio State Buckeyes. You know, I won't lie to y'all, this is one of the easier evaluations to do because there isn't a lot of negatives. Yes, there is no perfect prospect. Yes, there are things that these gentlemen do have to work out in their game, but Marvin Harrison Jr. is literally one of the better wide receiver prospects that you will see come out with this much hype on the hype train. And literally, okay, nobody is ever going to be a sure thing, but I mean, Marvin Harrison is definitely as close as they come. Let's talk about those measurables as per usual. Marvin stands at a nice 6'3", 209 pounds. He is only 21 years of age, played in 38 contests, even though he didn't play as much in his freshman season, man. 155 receptions, 26-13 in yardage. Nice 16.9 on the average, 31 touchdown receptions, matched year over year, about 1,200 yards and 14 touchdowns in each season. So he did do the business that you're looking for when it comes to statistical achievement. Marvin Harrison Jr. is that dog, man. Let's talk some pros. He's got a heaping amount of them. I mean, I could go on for days. Watching his tape was an absolute joy and pleasure. The truest form of elite wide receiver prospects. Great size and frame. Prototypical size and frame. I mean, you're not going to say, yeah, okay, you want 6'4", you want 6'5". 6'3's nice, man, at 209. Everything looks good from the frame aspect. He's a grown-ass man in the making, and he's going to be making plays, hopefully for the next 10 to 15 years in the NFL. Everybody knows who Marvin Harrison is, and they're going to get on tap to see how great he actually is. If you don't watch a lot of Ohio State Buckeye film, no question, man. Tape speed is fantastic, and I do like it because when you see him pull away, he can pull away. You straight nines on the routes when he's going straight for the end zone. I mean, it's there. You've seen it. I wish he would have ran something, but we're going to get into that in the cons, no question. Turn-up acceleration is absolutely elite. When he gets the ball in his hand, it is that turn, cut and go. He is able to do that north and south extremely well. The accelerators just kick in, and he is just a bat out of hell running down the field. Very good. It is elite in that respect. That's why I wanted to see what he would test on the clock, but we understand, man. Plant cut steps extremely sharp. Is he this juking type of wide receiver? No, but it's just so good, man. When he cuts, his footwork is extremely strong in the open field, whether he's going on the crossers, whether he's going on the sevens, the slants. His footwork is just absolutely phenomenal. It goes into the release footwork when you're talking about those slant routes, especially. You notice it more often than not, whether he's going for the 9 routes, it is, able to get around and then separating with ease, whether it be with the speed or the route tree. He does it all extremely well, especially with that footwork, okay? He does use his arms to push off sometimes, especially to gain separation off the press, but the footwork is so good. I mean, he's going to make somebody put on skates, no question. He can dance people out of a phone booth. I know I'm dating myself with that analogy, but I mean, it's no question, no kidding what Marvin Harrison Jr. can do, man. Double move is subtle but deadly. It's not one of these guys you're going to see that, put on the brakes and then just go around the defensive back. He does this so well, you don't even notice it sometimes when he does it. This is how good he is in this respect. Double move for me, like I said, subtle but deadly, and he will make you pay if you do bite on that attempt on the double move, potential button hook comeback route. He's going to go deep on you, and there is no stopping Marvin Harrison from getting open down the field and scoring touchdowns, man. Elite ball tracking ability with that massive catch radius. It's just good, man. Over the shoulders, great. Back shoulder fade is there. I mean, toe tap, toe drag swag, one-handers, everything you want out of this man, he does. The radius is so good at 6'3". He's going to be able to out-jump and out-leap a lot of these guys. You got Must Appeal is definitely here with a Marvin Harrison Jr. He's that good. Love it. Elite ball tracking ability, no question. Over the shoulder, man. You see even the ones where he's kind of coming into the flats, kind of on an angle, quarterback throw throws to the outside, and he's still able to adjust his body and make that. That's why I'm saying body balance and adjustments, absolutely perfect. Yes, he's made some mistakes in that as well. I mean, mistimes some throws, mistimes the read, and then there's a drop or there's, a pass that sails over his head. Not all his fault. There is a, opportunity that he can iron a lot of these things out, but in my estimation at this point, body balance, I mean, like the toe drag swag, man. When you watch some of these in the back pylon of the end zone, you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. Adjust perfectly, body balance so good, and he understands how to do that as well. Hands are fantastic, just snags the ball right up out of the air. Yes, he can get careless when he's running with the football, but at times not, a great concern, but we've seen it. I mean, he gets slapped out, the ball fumbles out, and I mean, it is what it is. It's just football. We've seen it versus the Georgia Bulldogs, and I mean, that was 2 years ago at least, but I mean, you see where he is improving and where he was. It's night and day from where it used to be to where he is absolutely today. Hands, absolutely fantastic. He will snag that ball, no slapping, no double catching. He is that good, man. Good jump ball timing goes with the elite ball tracking as well. You got to say, I mean, when that ball's in the air for the back shoulder fade, for the fade routes in the end zone, unbelievable stuff. He's going to get up there. He's going to grab these footballs. He's going to score lots of touchdowns for y'all, man. No question. Very good yak ability. Again, it's one of these situations that he can turn up field with that turn-up acceleration, and he is going to take yards after catch. There is no question in my mind, but he is not that necessarily, the elusive, juking, super shifty guy. He's just able to, lean, cut, bend, and then he's going, and that's just how he gets around defenders, and then he turns on the accelerators, and people are chasing him, Marvin Harrison Jr., a lot. So I'm telling y'all, once he gets in the NFL in the pro game, you're going to see this on display a whole heck of a lot. One-on-one, I mean, we could just say it right now, he's unguardable. It is like the Randy Moss situation where Randy wasn't necessarily, the most the fleet of foot when it came into the open field of juking ability. Not saying Marvin Harrison is going to end up being Randy Moss, but it's not out of the question because of what he can do on the field, and he is that good. One-on-one, you don't stand a chance. Majority of the time, let's say, 8 or 9 out of 10, one-on-one, you're not sizing up against a Marvin Harrison Jr. I got my money all day long on Marvin. All day long, man, for some cons, because everybody's got them, including elite level talent like a Marvin Harrison Jr. No combine participation. I mean, he didn't even show up to the interview. This is the biggest problem right now. No pro day participation. This is an issue. This is what's getting everybody to start talking about Marvin, saying, what's going on? Is it a character thing? Why isn't he doing these things? It's been an interesting combine and offseason for pro days where a lot of these guys chose not to participate. And I think it goes to point, they want to do it their way. Like Caleb Williams didn't, provide medicals to every single team. He said, I'm only going to provide medicals to the teams that I actually interview with. It's kind of in the same mold for Marvin where he's not going to do any of these, combine pro day situations because his camp already knows, including his pops, who is senior, Marvin Harrison Sr., he knows, man. He's done the NFL, and he says, your stock is already top 5, potentially a top 3 outside of quarterbacks. Obviously, we know quarterbacks will probably take up the first 3 spots, but in this draft, he is, literally a top 3 prospect. And I mean, Marvin Harrison Sr. definitely knows this, is instructing this young man to say, anything you do on the field right now at Combine or Pro Day is only going to hurt your stock because the hype train is so large for you, and you will be picked at least in that top 5. There is no question. So for me, that's kind of where I see it. Will it turn off some of these teams that he did not participate in any of this? The willingness to show up, the willingness to do interviews, the willingness to do the NFL quote-unquote, system that they want you to do. Perhaps we could see some teams say, we don't like that about our guy. Maybe he's going to be a headache in the locker room. We haven't seen anything to suggest that at Ohio State, but it is notable to suggest no combine, no pro day participation, and he didn't even show up to his interview. So there is some question marks that are, laid out right there for Marvin, but I'm not too overly concerned about it. But it definitely just has to be highlighted somewhere, so we put it here in the cons. No top-end speed, 40-time clock. I just wanted to see it, man. So I'm putting it down, Marvin. Sorry, buddy. I have to put it down. I really wanted to see what you were going to run. I got no doubt in my mind it would have been at least a 4.41, if not sub 4.4. He is that fast, 6'3", 209. It would have been blazing speed even at a 4.41. con, and we all would have been happy and smiling. But we did not get to see it, so I got to drop it here as a con because I don't like that, man. I wanted to see the 40. You robbed me of that, Marvin. I'm quite angry with you, actually. Not extremely elusive in the open field, like I said, with the shifty juking, but he's very agile with a change of direction. This is exactly what you want to see, okay? Marvin is this good. He's not Tank Dell. He's not, any of the other guys that are just going to, juke you out of your pants. But like I said, a very quick accelerators kick in. He does the cut, the plant steps, and then he's able to at least lean, bend around these defensive backs, around the safeties, around the linebackers. He does it very well. We've seen it many times on those crossing routes coming over the middle. Marvin does this very good. Change of direction in the open field. There is no question. It is very good and agile. So I'm putting it down here just as a point of reference, not saying, he's never going to work out of this. But I mean, his shifty juking probably likely not in his game in the NFL anyway. He doesn't necessarily have to be because he does everything else extremely well. Added strength would benefit. He's not weak by any stretch of the imagination, in my opinion. I don't have many concerns on the press, and when he gets into the NFL weight room, he's going to put on at least another 10 pounds. He's going to put on some muscle, and he's going to be an absolute force on this field, busting up the press coverage from these stronger defensive backs. I got no issues. Added strength, that's it. It's not necessarily con, more of a statement, so I got to put it somewhere, and it's got to sit here. Weaker quarterback play in 2023, okay, statistically speaking. McCord did not do, fare much less than C.J. Stroud in his final year. I think they were off by like 600 passing yards. But we should have seen the stats increase for Marvin Harrison Jr. So, I mean, he was on that Heisman pace early on, and as games started to go on, they started moving away from him, game script specific. And, I mean, come on, we should have seen Marvin just blow it up over 1,700 yards this past season. Still got 1,200 plus, 14 TDs, so it is definitely good enough. I just wanted to see that next level ascension in his game, so I'm going to blame McCord on this one and the coaching staff at OSU because you guys robbed Marvin of a stellar, elite statistical season that he could have had this past year. But for grading purposes, every prospect, deserves a grade score. Marvin definitely ranks higher in a lot of categories than most that I've ever done. 84.1% is Marvin Harrison Jr. He is on that elite level train. I mean, outside of him just completely busting in the NFL, he is the safest, surest wide receiver you could say. Ranks in the same realm of where I had the guys like Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson, I believe I had him at like 82%, where Chris Olave was like 81%. It is good, man. These wide receivers are turning out from the Buckeyes, and Marvin Harrison Jr. is no question in my mind the wide receiver one in this draft. Don't overthink it, even though Malik Neighbors and Rome Odunze are that good. I'm telling y'all, Marvin Harrison is just a beast. There you have it. That is Marvin Harrison Jr. And get used to the name, man, because he's going to be on highlight reels on SportsCenter every single Sunday, depending on where he does land team-wise. This is going to be the most interesting aspect of this NFL draft. Is it going to be the Cardinals at 4? Is he going to fall past that? We will see. Will somebody jump the draft to try to snag his services? It is going to be interesting, but he should have a definite great NFL career. He is one I'm extremely excited about. If you're doing fantasy football, and it is not super flex, he's your number 101. I'll just throw it out there right now. But nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments, give me your thoughts, and we'll see you next time. I am out.